In my last video, I used the black and white tool in the digitizer to make a picture that was only two colors. I'm going to use that black and white tool again today. And that previous project was a cross stitch, but now it's going to go towards the direction of making a crochet graphghan type project. So I'm going to pick project, create from image. I'm going to select image. And let me just pick a couple of things here. I just want you to know that black and white option works pretty well for, a lot of pictures like this one. That's a little too busy, I think, for a graphghan pattern. But, I just want to show a couple of things, that this works actually pretty well for a lot of images. If you want to just work in fewer colors, black and white works pretty well. Okay, so let me go down and find, I have another cat here that's really colorful. And one of the issues in doing like a crochet graphghan is if you have a lot of color changes, it becomes really, really difficult to work. I mean, you literally can crochet anything if you want to spend the time on it, and you could put all these colors and all of that in there. But it would it saves a lot of time to convert something to like black and white or grayscale. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to just click on the Make Image Black and White. It works pretty well with the slider just right in the center for this picture. And we're going to go over here and we're going to pick something we can do some crocheting with. I like to use a Red Heart Super Saver yarn. I use that a lot. So we've got our cat picture over here. Let's go down and check out our grid size because that's going to be very important. We want to make sure, that our graphghan is going to come out, what we want it to come out. So we're going to define units, and now I'm going to pick crochet. And this is a single crochet gauge that's predefined here, but you can enter whatever you want. If you want to do the graphghan in half double crochets, all you have to do is crochet like a 4x4 inch square and count the number of half double crochet rows and half double crochet stitches, in whatever swatch you make. And you will be doing it, and that'll be a pattern for half double crochet. It will size the little rectangles in the screen on the screen so that they are for half double crochet. Same for double crochet if you wanted to do that. So, but this is I'm just going to do this in single crochet. So I've got, okay, now I've got my cat. Now, this original size here, which is 200 by 185, is going to be 61 inches, which is a little big. It could be something that you want, but I was thinking more like a lapkin type thing. So I was going to put in 36 inches in here. See how that turns out. Still turns out pretty good. That's not bad. We have a lot of these little dots and things out here, which we could clear out with the editor. But there's another way to kind of smear everything together, and that's by going under here into the digitization type and picking smooth. Okay, and now we get it. It's kind of blurred out a little bit, and we're getting some grays in here. So it's originally a black and white picture, but we're going to get some grays because the whites on the edges are going to be blended using the smoothing algorithm. And so, so we're going to get some grays in here. So if we go back up to our palette, originally we saw only two colors coming up here, black and white, but now we're getting some other things. I'm going to try and get this down to just a set of grays. So I'm going to just put 4 in there, and that's not bad. We've got white, black, oatmeal, and dusty gray. So we've got like 4 shades, and probably we could, that's what happens if we do 3. Probably, the oatmeal, I guess it kept the oatmeal, which is interesting. So that would work well too. So, either way goes okay. And if you, let's say maybe you don't want the oatmeal, maybe you want to go up here and just pick the gray instead, you can see what that looks like if you do substitution for that. So I'm thinking 3 colors might be enough. And so we've already set our size and the digitization type. So I'm going to say create project. So we'll just call this cat. Okay. So now we have our cat. Now, um, with a Graphghan project, you usually don't want to have single dots sitting out here in the middle of, some areas because that's like one string of, yarn that you have to stick in there and then you have to work in the edges and all of that or carry it over to something else. So I'm going to use this tool again, this fill spatter tool again, right here. And I'm going to fill the white area. I'm on a desktop, so I'm going to be doing it with, I'm going to leave this in the background color, and I'm going to right click on the areas. Now, if you're doing this on a tablet and you do not have a mouse, then you would need to put the white over here in foreground color and then tap. And then this would always use the foreground color if you're using your finger. If you have a mouse, then you have a choice of left and right thing. So if we do that, we can get rid of some of these other colors here. I think I'm going to fill that little area there in kind of dark. And this one here, we can probably get rid of that. Let's see if I do that again. Do I want those or not? Sometimes you don't want to remove too much detail because you're removing detail from the picture. You need to have kind of these lines where the whiskers go through and that kind of thing so that you can see the cat's face pretty well. Now you can even go and if I click the left mouse button in this area, it should remove some of those areas there. So you can do that. If you feel you've done too much, you can always do an undo and go back. So I'm just trying to remove some of those single dots in the larger areas. Show used will show me just the 3 colors that I've got. I'm going to pick gray here and go in and see if we can't get that one because it's on the edge. But I can get a few things in here. Those are on the edge too. Okay, so we'll get a few of that. I don't know whether I might have wanted to leave that there. Yeah, if they're on the edge, that tool won't get them. Okay. So, and that's pretty good. Now, you might want to look through it and think about how you crochet, each line and think about the color changes that you need to make. You could make some edits in here and that kind of thing. But a lot of times what I would do is I would just edit a little bit and then just start crocheting, on your panel, down at the bottom, and just work your way up. And when you get to some place where a color change is kind of weird and it would be hard to do, then you can always go back and, if you want to, say if you wanted to sell the pattern or something like that, then as you're crocheting it, if you're making corrections as you crochet, go back and edit the panel every time you make a correction. And at the end, when you get done with it, then you'll know for sure that that whole panel will crochet pretty well together. But yeah, so you can keep editing, or you can do it, kind of with a manual process where you go through and, work on it. Now, one other thing that I wanted to show in here is that once you digitize something like that, there is an easy way to put a border around the entire thing and see what the colors look like. So that can be done here under the display menu. And this menu is a scrolling menu, by the way. If you're on a tablet, you won't see that, but if you, put your finger there and flick it, it'll scroll. So there's a thing down here called grid size, and I'm going to select that. And I'm going to put some extra, it takes whatever color the background is, and it's going to use that to fill in the larger size of the picture. So I'm going to put some white cells all the way around the outside, maybe a couple rows of each one. So I'm going to add 4 rows and 4 columns, which initially adds them on the right and bottom, but you can change that so that they are split between top and bottom or split between left and right. So now it's going to add 2 rows of white, because white is the background color, around the outside of my cat. And I say save. And I've got those 2 rows there. And then I think I will do that again. Whoops, I need to change this color first. Let's put a gray row around it next. Let's go say grid size, like that, and we'll split it top and bottom, split them left and right. So we've got +2 all the way around of the gray color, because that's the background color. And now I've added that. And now let's add some black around that. Grid size. And we'll split it again, top and bottom, left and right. There we go, like that. So now we've got like a frame around our cat picture. And if you wanted to change one of these afterwards, I would use the line tool to do it. You can pick the line tool down here and say you wanted to change this color here to something else, or change the outer one or whatever. Let's change the outer one back to white and see what that looks like. Then we can set the width of our line here to 2, because these were 2 rows across. Whoopsie. I don't quite have that in the right spot there. That's kind of hard because I can't see that shadow up there. There, and now I got it. So if I wanted to like change that to gray or make a wider gray border and I wanted to do that, then I would use the line tool, to go and edit that after you've added it, if you want to change the color of something. So something like that. And then I go like, oh, I don't know, I like that black around the outside. So let's leave it like that. Okay, so that pretty much finishes this project. Let's save it again. Okay, and like I said, you could continue to edit it, or you could go ahead and try working it, and see how that works out. And you could do, the white. You could start. I'd probably, if I was going to do this, I would probably start with the white, so I have a nice easy edge to start with without having to add colors into it. So I got 2 rows of white before I have to add anything in. And I would probably crochet the whole white panel, from bottom to top. And then I would add the gray crochet around the outside, probably just by doing the single crochet around the outside, but you can work that out yourself. But the border does allow you to, being able to put the border on around it allows you to be able to kind of see what it'll look like. You can always just, crochet the initial panel and then just use the outer edges to see, what the thing will look like. Okay, so I think that's about it for this picture. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.